Chief of the International Atomic Energy Agency Rafael Grossi said that the attacks on the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant seriously increased the risks to physical and nuclear safety at the plant. He said that the strike on the dome of the Unit 6 of the nuclear power plants did not cause serious damage, but set a dangerous precedent of hitting the reactor container. Russian occupiers have repeatedly placed the nuclear power plant at risk.
The 5 principles established in this very chamber 1 year ago must be adhered to. They are there to prevent a major nuclear accident with potentially significant radiological consequences. The latest attacks represent a flagrant violation of these crucial principles and must stop.
Oleksiy Melnichuk, operations specialist of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, told about the constant violations of IAEA demands by the Russian occupants. The Russians store military equipment and weapons at the plant. They are also shelling Ukrainian cities from its territory. Because of the actions of Russian occupiers since the beginning of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant has experienced 8 complete and another partial blackouts. Staff shortages also increase risks.
Most of those who could work at the NPP with qualifications have left Enerhodar. The fake NPP leadership is trying to train new workers, taking people from the street and without proper specialization and education. They accept those who do not meet the standards of an employee of the NPP. Some of them work there for a certain period of time and quit. Some of those recruited from the street came to work in a drunken state. Oleksiy Melnichuk, the NPP operations specialist, in an interview with the RBC Ukraine.
It is difficult to assess the real situation at the plant, experts say. They count on the strengths of the structure and the fact that the reactors have been put into cold shutdown mode, which reduces the risks of an accident.
All units of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant have been switched to cold shutdown mode, which means that the plant does not produce energy, and a minimum amount of water is required to cool the relevant systems. And this is the right decision insisted on by the IAEA, because after the destruction of the Kakhovka hydroelectric dam, there are difficulties with water supply to the ZNPP cooling ponds.
The Russian Federation is staging provocative shelling of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant facilities in order to accuse Ukraine of it and thus take the issue of the need to deoccupy the nuclear facility off the agenda. Ukraine's permanent representative to the UN, Serhiy Kislitsa, has said. The diplomat stressed that Moscow has violated each of the 7 IAEA principles on nuclear and physical safety.
The return of the station to the full control of Ukraine is the only guarantee of nuclear and radiation safety. Madam President, we categorically reject the insane allegations that Ukraine may cause nuclear disaster. Does anyone believe that the country that is still recovering from the biggest nuclear disaster would like a repeat of Chernobyl 1986? This is an idea that could only enter the minds of the Kremlin propagandists, as only the Kremlin propagandists openly dream of radioactive dust replacing Ukrainian cities.
Representatives of the EU, the USA and Ukraine to the UN Security Council meeting called the occupant Russia responsible for the incidents at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Reported by Anastasia Tarnavska, Andriy Dmitrenko, UATV News.